We're going to talk about potential correction in the market and some bullish news. So hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you are new, obviously subscribe, bell button, like and comment. It really does help. I'm trying to get to 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It's a massive target. My target at the start of the year was 10,000. We're now at 15,200 whatever subscribers. We want to see if we can double it. It'd be awesome if we can. Now, let's talk about what's on the screen here. Again, some news has come out about PayPal in terms of subscription services, in terms of like their newsletter waiting lists and stuff of how many people are interested in their service for crypto. It's a lot bigger than they expected, which is kind of like... So we're going to do some bullish news first in terms of what kind of backs up my thoughts of the last few videos I've done in terms of market cycles, what we're gearing up for, the catalyst potential boom. I've often said that this is more of a marketing sort of situation than an actual use case. And the one thing around the CBDCs that are coming out over the next year with regulatory bodies and all kinds of shit involved, but it is really good for the word of trust in the word of cryptocurrency. Everyone that mentions crypto is like, oh, you know, they don't really want anything to do with it. Now that PayPal has jumped on board and then there's more clarity with regulation, it's starting to look a bit more bullish, weirdly. Obviously other things coming out in other tokens as well that looks quite good and handy. But there's one thing I want to talk about this here. Already, right, when we look at this, where is it? The rollout is saying this, right, as a support of 28 million vendors, which is crazy. They're already saying that while 10% of the US base currently have access to crypto services, there's a massive jump in their expectations. Their waiting list is between 2 and 3 times more than the expectations ever was in terms of how many people would actually use it. You got to remember there's a lot of active users around the world using PayPal. Hundreds of millions, right? There's a ton of people. I've just used it this morning. Now, personally, I'll never use it for crypto, but some people will because it's easy, it's convenient. It's like getting a ready-made dinner for you. Simple, you know. People will do that. I think this is one step catalyst for next year in terms of the money flow going into it. Dumb money, as I like to call it. That dumb money will make things happen, in my opinion. So we've got to be careful. With that being said, there's another thing that's happened as well with PayPal, and I'm going to show you this. PayPal raises a crypto buying limit to $15,000 per week for eager customers. So in 2021, we know that it's coming out. It's savage. Obviously, we've got to look at this. It's increasing from 10,000 to 15,000. And as I've said, all this sort of information here is interesting. This is mightily bullish for the dumb money to come to the market. Now, what do I mean by dumb money? You should, if you're watching this video, probably already be in a position in crypto. That will pump our bags, put it that way, depending on the price. Obviously, we may correct in terms of the new year. Whoever knows what's going to happen tonight with the elections, all kinds of, you know, all that's factors, right? But if Bitcoin, if Ethereum, if whatever goes low enough, and this comes to the market, and there's an opportunity of an on-ramp into crypto via PayPal with nice limits that are very easy for people to get involved in. You've got to remember here, PayPal are trying to adapt their business model to survive for the future. They want this. They want this hard. They want this big. They want this now. It's very important we understand that. That is a catalyst to go and just pump a bag easily. So, that being said, that rule that I said in the last video, buy low, sell high, well, remember it, because people will be jumping on some really big price action in the next coming years, I think, over time. People thinking they missed the boat, they might have, but it may drive the price even higher. And there's obviously this news as well we need to talk about. The reason why this is massive is because this is a huge drop. Difficulty adjustment in Bitcoin mining is a technical subject anyways. This is a massive shed load of boom. What they're suggesting is, and what's on Twitter is, that this is actually due to the electrical issues in China due to dry season. You know, it tends to happen. They've shut off the miners for now, but the price can follow hash rate and also difficulty adjustment. So just be careful with this, in my opinion. This would indicate a few things. Congested network right now, expensive Bitcoin. People may not want to use Bitcoin right now to send their money. They'll look at alternatives. XRP would be a good example. With that being a situation right now, we may well find that that money will dry up a little bit in terms of the cost for the miners because it's been turned off, but they're not making any money neither. We've got to be careful here because if these are dumping the market, the miners are going to be affected and they will trigger another dump, in my opinion. So this news is kind of important in the grand scheme of things. Currently the price is unaffected, right? But if the price does get affected, and like it says here, you know, losing 25% of the computing power and stuff in the hash rate, price can follow that because the money isn't there for the miners. If they've been turning off, if they're moving supplies, if they're changing things around, they're not making any money. But they're also not spending any money. But their profit margin can get shrunk massively very, very quickly if the market is dumped. You've got to remember, they are performing on the price of Bitcoin more than anything, realistically, when you think about it. So just be careful. So let's look at the bulk of the chart first before we go. And I don't want to burst anyone's bubble, but I think a correction is coming for Bitcoin. We're starting to turn here. Bearish divergence in the RSI is looking quite neat and tidy. I think 12.5 is the obvious place where we're going to go first, in my honest opinion. Maybe we may find some supports in and around where this region has been wicking all the way. Bulls are still buying this up. Like, people are still like investing, like, oh, price is high, Bitcoin's good, I need to buy this. That mentality, you don't want that mentality. You don't average up. When we look at the other altcoins, though, that this is where it's important. In my opinion, overall, we're starting to turn around, in my opinion. We've formed a top here, 618 resistance kind of level, where we've gone from this high, bounced back up to the 618. We've retraced 61.8% back of that move, right? But now we've hit a top, right? Moving on to that. What we've found here is a low, lower high, lower low, as it stands right now. Current pricing in terms of a wick. Not confirmed yet, just be careful. This is now crucial level support. Will it hold? Previous resistance, support, it's now currently being support as it has been in the past. It's a vital level, this. Lose this. That could be very, very interesting for the market. So in my opinion, I think we could be coming down because EMA crossovers are obviously key, but this is on a vital level. If, as I say, it may support it and it may carry on, but it also may lose it, so just be careful. Another one as well is obviously Chainlink. Again, same sort of situation, but this is the opposite way around. We have actually formed again another top. We went up to the 382. Cool, the level before the 618. But again, it's starting to show a potential trend going down. This again is vitally dangerously close to a potential drop in the market, informing a lower low. And then it could potentially form a little bit of a higher up and then drop even further and then potentially go back down and retest this white level, which is $7. So again, we've got to be very, very careful with what we're doing with our money here. Litecoin, again, right on support levels, looking very, very interesting. Still in an uptrend, still looking all right, but drops a little bit lower. It's starting to get into that bearish trend. So we've got to be careful. But the one thing I want to talk about as well is obviously Bitcoin dominance. If you've been following me for a while, you probably would have seen this chart. Obviously, it's a bit messy, it's a bit ugly, it's a bit fat on the barriers here. Bear with me. Let me just make that a little bit neater because that looks really ugly. Hurting my eyeballs. There we go. I've often said that we could be going right up to this high, low, potential 618 retracement here, in my opinion, up to 66.8 roughly. We are at resistance right now, as you can see with this level, and we are above this level here, which has been previous regions. Now, the one thing that we've got to make sure what happens here is what could happen next. Well, what could happen next is quite simple. This is a previous bull run. Big, massive pull up and slam. This could happen again, in my opinion. This could really happen again, going up to this level and going up to this, down to this level. This could mean a Bitcoin dominance going all the way up to 68 maybe even a little bit, below that, and then maybe slam from that point, because this is in a downtrend. Either way you look at it, this is in a downtrend from this following rise. We could find that the sentiment totally change overall in the behavior of the market. Bitcoin go really high, profit from Bitcoin going into altcoin, from that Bitcoin profit could slam the dominance. That could happen. Imagine what would happen if it went down to 52 dominance. Your altcoins will rally hard, very hard, and it'll be a very, very profitable period. It could also go a little bit lower as well, down to 47, which would be unbelievable. So if we're looking at a long-term swing here, and this downtrend remains in play, we could well fail around this point and start trickling back down, and then gradually going down to this period of time into Q1. So that means a few things. In my opinion, I think dominance is going to go a little bit higher, meaning your altcoins are going to get battered a little bit. But overall, I do think it's going to be short-term pain. I feel overall in the market, next year is key. More than anything in the world right now, next year is key. This year, we may well get a correction. Obviously, US elections, lockdowns, and all kinds of stuff like that. Unpredictability. A bearish winter, we may have one. But we also may have a catalyst for a potential start of a run into next year with PayPal, FOMO, scarcity halving, and ultimately other elements of developments coming out with Ethereum and other assets. So, as an investor, recommendations would be to keep a bag somewhere, bag of fiat, whatever, bag of USD. Look to buy low as you can. But if you're holding a solid altcoin for the future, try and accumulate it, trying to get as much as you can and chill out on it. Because overall, altcoins, in my opinion, still very much undervalued. Bitcoin, on the other hand, stop buying it. Christ, man. You're buying at top levels. You do not want a dollar cost average up. I don't care what people say. If it goes to $55,000, yay, well, then you've made a 3x. Who cares? But when you look at the grand scheme of things, if Bitcoin does that, what will the others do? That's the main thing we've got to look at.